guys, welcome back to my channel. These are the Quanum V2 Pros, and we're going to go over pretty much everything you want to know about these goggles. Well, alright guys, so these are the Quanum V2 Pro goggles. These are the DIY FPV goggles that we all know and love. We have all had probably a good experience with these in the past, so I'm just going to go over a few of the differences between the V2 add-on kit, which I put onto these goggles, and also the Quanum V2 Pros. Now, there are a couple of differences. Now, one of the biggest notable differences is number one, going to be the lenses. Number two is going to be the actual sock itself, and number three is going to be the length of the actual box that is in the V2 Pro. So I'm going to get these guys out of the way and follow along with me, guys. This is going to be a little bit of a long review, so if you want to know all about these goggles, you've come to the right place. Okay guys, the first thing to go over is the actual neoprene sock that the V2s, the original V2s came with. And you will notice immediately that the thickness of this material is way thicker than this material right here, and on either of these different versions of socks. Now, it was a fantastic idea because this lightened up this whole area right here. And basically these come to about right under a pound at about 489 grams for this one and about 420 grams for this box here. And that is without the receivers in there. So that with the receivers, you're putting about a pound on your face, and that's also not including your battery. Depending on what battery you put on there, it'll add that much more weight. But the difference in sock weight, just the sock weight itself. Now I went ahead and added the rear battery compartment for this to put the battery weight on the back of your head, and also the buckle up here to kind of give it a similar apples to apples comparison between the two. Just the socks by itself. And the socks, basically this is about 64 grams heavier than this setup right here. So right off the bat you're losing about 64 grams, and also you're gaining a lot of adjustability as far as the Velcro straps, the new ones that are on these socks compared to the old ones. So we're just going to take the old V2 sock and put it aside because it's really not really relevant anymore compared to these ones, which are so much better. They're lighter, thinner, and have way more adjustability. So, okay, so if you look at these together, the socks are basically the same now, and the big difference between the V2 and the V2 Pro is the length of the box. And let me just take a ruler here and just take a look at the general measurements. About 6 1/4 inches long, and let me see here. This is going to a full 7 inches, so they're getting about a 3/4 of an inch length difference in the V2 Pros. That's one of the big differences. So this means that you don't have to take the screen if your focal length, if you're having problems with your focal length and you can't quite focus with the lenses, instead of having to put the screen on the outside of the box, you can actually leave it right where it is in the V2 Pros. So that's a great addition. As far as fitment goes, I like the V2 Pros better. The V2s had this little block that would sit right on your lower arch right here, which most guys cut off, and then when you cut off it, then it was hard to mount the foam that was on the outside of the face. So in that respect, these are a lot smoother, and I'll show a little bit of a close-up of these here as well. Another really nice thing about the V2 Pro sock, which is both of these, is the ease at which you can actually remove all the strapping right here to gain access to the actual goggles themselves. So if you needed to, say, switch out a lens or something, hang on one second. Let's pull this guy out here. It's so easy just to undo these 3 bits of Velcro right here, and now you have access. You can slide this out very easily, change your lens, and then just strap this back on, and it's just really well thought out. I really appreciate that. So like I said, in here you don't have these blocks that are going to be pressing on a certain spot on your face. Now you guys will notice that I don't have the lower foam in here, and that's one thing to be mentioned about just either the V2 add-on kit or the V2 Pro kit, is that this foam it leaves something to be desired. Basically what I do is I take this completely off. Well, I take that strip off and I use goop. Goop. This is the glue that I use. It's a more secure fit. There's a reason why it comes off the lower area of the goggle, because as you're pulling these onto your face, you're stretching them over, and this area always slides down over your face, and it always wants to roll that foam up. Now I wish they would provide a better, more substantial foam. If you look at the density of this foam, you can actually just squish it right in half pretty easily. So once you put it on your face and you strap it all down, it's almost like the foam itself from the goggle face is actually sitting on your, it's actually hitting your face. So that's one slight improvement that I would suggest. And really, this type of foam that the boxes are made of, it tends to be very, very difficult to get anything to stick to it. So if you are going to glue these in place like I did with the Goop, take just a little bit of sandpaper and just roughen up the foam first. And that's going to make your experience miles better than if you just take these double-sided stick tape and put it on there, because the foam just rolls off. I mean, literally within a few seconds it was off. So so make sure you do that. It's not a huge thing. It's not going to be the biggest downer for this. It's an easy fix. So and if you're doing FPV, this is something that's going to be super easy for everyone. All right, so one of the nice things I was mentioning about this setup is that it is lighter weight. But the one thing that you gain a little bit of weight back in is with the lenses, excuse me. So these lenses are much heavier than the stock lenses. Of course, you know, it's one thin little piece of plastic as opposed to this one, which is about, let me see what it weighs, about 52 grams. So that's with the plastic and the paper in there. So maybe 50 grams. So although you're taking away weight in one place, you're also putting it back in another, but then you're also carrying your battery weight on the back of your head, which helps to balance this out. Overall, this is a much better picture than what the original Quantum V2s were. Okay, as you guys can see, I have the Quantum Diversity receiver here. I'm going to be doing a separate review on this very soon. But let's just go ahead and take this apart real quick, and we'll just take a look at the inside of the goggles here. These frames are really nice. They snap together just as easily as the originals, probably a little bit easier. And you can have our lens right here. I have the 1.5x lens in there, and it is, like I said, pretty heavy, and you can actually run two lenses at the same time and to make it even more magnification. So, so that's something to look forward to. The standout quality of both the add-on kit and the V2 Pro is these lenses. They're I don't know if they're milled or cast, I don't know what they are, but they are very, very clear, and you don't see any rippling effects from Fresnel lens that you would use before. So I think they're fantastic. Everyone that's looked through these said, wow, these are amazing. One thing I always notice is that the edge distortion towards the edge of the screen is a lot less when you use these new lenses. So I think they're fantastic. You get three of them. One is a 1x, one is 1.25, and one is 1.5. Now when it comes to the sock, the best feature is probably this top strap. You can tighten up the side straps very, very easily. So what's really nice is you can loosen this up, slide it on your head, and then just tighten down each strap very, very quickly, which is really nice to get into. The original did not have an adjustable top strap, and that's where everyone was running into problems. They would put a lot of weight on the lower half of your face. So when you put the strap on, it really allows you to dial in the height of the goggles, so either below your nose or above your nose. I like above my nose because I don't fog anything up. But it also, the top of your head tends to take a lot of the weight, and then you have the counterbalance of the battery being in the back of your head. Now, I can run anywhere from about a 1300 to a 2200 size battery. So the more weight you have in the back is actually better. So if you get one of these skinny 2200s out in there, you put that right back there, and it's fantastic. And it has to be said that also the routing of all these cables is much, much easier. You can see here I have a very simple setup right here. Just cable coming from the monitor here through these bottom elastic pieces and into the back here once you get this strapped in. One thing to note is that you can change the front end of this to make the goggles, the sock more forward or backward. But the one thing I did notice, which is not a huge deal, is that they moved, because this is a longer focal length, the area where you can slide the lens forward and backward is in the wrong place now. So Although they fixed this, they didn't accommodate this here, right here. And it's not a big deal because most people I know pull the lens as far up to their face as they can and they just leave it there. I never move it. So, of course, guys, one of the standout features of these goggles as well is that it has a little cutout on the side. So guys like me that wear glasses, this fits right over my glasses, no problem. So far, guys, I like these. For the price, you really can't go wrong. Well, alright guys, so that wraps up a quick summary of the V2 Pro goggles, and I really, like I said, I flew with these this last weekend. I got a couple flights in. I want to get a couple more flights in before I give it a final review, a performance review. That'll be with the Quantum diversity receiver, which these are really cool, guys. Amazing features. If you haven't looked at them yet, go ahead and take a look at those. And I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for joining my channel. Click on the links below if you want to check these out, and I'll talk to you guys later.